everyone, and welcome to the good, the bad, and the ridiculous everything that was on day 2 of the first test. And I am so excited. I'm ridiculously excited to have Adam Collins with me, the great, who has made it all the way here from the UK through quarantine with a teething baby, quarantining. You've made it here. Thank you for being on the show tonight.
15 nights in quarantine. Where else would I want to spend my first night of freedom other than being alongside one of my dearest friends in the world? Let's do this.
Let's do it. Okay, so our first nomination, Devesh Taparia, suggests good, relentless bowling by Ashwin. But I might also mention Dill's cricket foot, who suggests ridiculous, Smith missing a straight ball. That's a bit of a diss to Ashwin.
Yes, I think it was more skillful than just a straight one. It was the way that he set him up, turning the ball prodigiously in the second innings of a test match. Easier said than done. And I think today it was all about the overspin that Ashwin was getting. That I think Ashwin traditionally in this part of the world has been an undercutter of the ball, and that does not work in Australia. You need to get elevation off the track a la Nathan Lyon, a la Bruce Yardley if you want to go back 30 or 40 years. And that's what Ashwin was able to achieve today, getting bounce off the pitch, which meant that the men around the bat were always in the game. So I don't think Smith missed a straight one as much as he was set up expertly by one of the best finger spinners we've seen in a very, very long time.
And certainly a finger spinner who loves Adelaide as well. In Adelaide, if you love off spin, geez, you've had a good test to watch.
Yes.
But what about pulling out the leggy? Now, I saw him. I was sitting with Gideon Haig up there. We saw him practicing before the game started, those leggies. Pulls one out in the match. He doesn't stop tinkering, the man.
This is an old-fashioned thing, the all-round spinner. And from time to time, we've seen Ashwin bowl leg breaks in Test cricket. It's not without precedent, but he's doing it more often, and he's doing it better. It used to be the sort of ball which he would bowl and it could kind of go anywhere. Then we've seen him take wickets against Australia, delivering this in 2013, let's remember. But he's such a thinker about the game. I remember Ashwin did a tremendous interview on Test Match Special going back to the 2018 England-India series, and he's just such a thinker about the game at large. I've had some exchanges with him on social media about running out the non-striker. He and I are of a like mind on this issue, and I love our exchanges because you can see that he cares about the discourse around the game, and I love it when he does well.
Yeah, he certainly is very intelligent. Big fan of this show, I believe. Big fan.
He might be. Let's tag him in. Ashwin, if you're watching this, I want you to come on my podcast as well at some point. Please. You're the patron saint of the final word. Sorry, carry on, Mel.
Okay, so there's a couple of nominations. Now, one from Hitchy. Ridiculous, Ashwin not wearing a cap while bowling. I just want to set you up here. He did wear a cap in both the warm-up games.
Yes.
I'm just calling this out now, that was a bad thing today, and I'm still trying to recover from it.
Was there a reason given for why he wore... I know it was COVID, wasn't it? He didn't want to give his cap to somebody else, but obviously, and thus... He wore it when he was bowling. But, I mean, the tradition of spinners wearing a hat, we see it in women's cricket all the time, but you want to talk about productive spinners in Australia. Greg Matthews used to wear the cap. I mean, Shane Warne is wearing a cap in commentary at the moment, and we know what he was able to do with the ball. So I think there's a through line between Greg Matthews, Shane Warne, advanced hair, Ravichandran Ashwin. I mean, I want to see him wearing it in the second innings and bowl Australia out doing it the way that he did in 2018 here. That's what I want to see.
Well, I've been up there crying most of the afternoon because I was that devastated he wasn't wearing it. So he's dead to me. He's dead to me until he wears that cap again. That's done. Now, we have one from Sheikh who suggests good. India getting a 53-run lead. Tim Paine making sure it's only 53.
Yeah, I think they might have got a 59-run lead, unless I've got my sums wrong. Anyway, whatever it is, the reason they have a lead with a 5 in front of it is due to the Australian captain. Top scoring in Test cricket for just the third time. Admittedly, one of those times was making 22. But the broader point here is that Paine was able to transfer pressure back onto India's bowlers. 73 not out in 99 deliveries, if I recall correctly, which other Australian batsmen weren't able to do. So they smothered them. At one point, when Shami bowled a really important spell of 4 overs, only 2 runs came from it. I think it was an 8-over batch where 9 runs were scored, a wicket was collected. It's when Ashwin was able to turn the screws due to the way his seamers were on the other end giving nothing away. So I like the fact that when Paine came in, granted, batting with the tail, his job description changed, but he was able to up the tempo at just the right time, which meant they had to go to plan B and plan C and try and milk the tail end thing and all the rest of it. So well played, Tim Paine. He now has a higher average than Brad Haddon. He's only behind Adam Gilchrist for wicketkeeper batsman. And I think that's significant given how much scrutiny there's been around Tim Paine with the blade since he became captain of the Australian cricket team.
Yeah, and I think the thing that always strikes me is that because he's been captain and because his captaincy has been so important to Australia, that in a way has forced him or really inspired him to improve his batting to the point where he's batting the best I think he has in his entire career. And it's very interesting to see how it's gone that way. You often see it in some ways go another way. He wouldn't have been here. We all know that a couple of years ago, except for circumstances. So it just continues this incredible story that's Tim Paine.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I like that. I suppose it's being in the Australian system and getting that next level of technical support week in, week out, which he wouldn't have been receiving at Tasmania. Certainly not when he was getting, operations on a weekly basis on his right ring finger, no, right index finger, wasn't it, that Dirk Nannis broke all those years ago. So
who was, I might just say, our guest last night.
Oh, you had Dirk on before. Well, it's hard
I was
to live up
warming.
to.
No, I was warming up.
Okay, well, still,
Main act.
we're big fans of Tim Paine. So that's the good. What else have we got?
So we've also got Gaurav Reddy, who's. I should do it this way. We've also got Gaurav Reddy, who suggests picking Shaw over Gill, ridiculous. And also we have another Shaw one from Jeffro C. Shaw's drop was ridiculously bad and felt like I was watching park cricket. There's been a lot of criticism of Shaw.
There were 3 instances today where Indian fielders tried to take catches with their feet off the ground, a la in Australian rules football. Now, that doesn't tend to work because you don't have a good centre of gravity. And the one with Shaw, it almost had enough time to go in the air, enough time to read a couple of pages of a book before considering whether he took it with his fingers up or fingers down. It was a shambles. Now, as for Shaw with the bat, I'm going to just wave my arms like Cameron Green. I'm just going to go like that in an elegant way and say I'm not offering a shot on Prithvi Shaw after one test match here. He's a young player. He's going to play next week at Melbourne. We know that Gill's going to play instead of Coley, obviously. Shaw's playing at Melbourne, so I'm not ready to write the young man off yet. We've seen he can do it at the top level, and he's a generational talent. Yes, he's had some trouble this week, but per Ricky Ponting on television tonight, let's not get in the business of sacking a bloke after 1 week.
Well, that's exactly what we were thinking. We were sort of talking him up beforehand as well. And look, this coming out here, pink ball, especially Mitch Stark, Pat Cummins, the like of those, bowling early. Okay, that's going to be a tough initiation for anyone. And look, there aren't that many batters out there who've made it look easy. In fact, Virat Kohli has probably made it look the easiest out of anybody in the whole test so far. So, and he's going to play, and as you said. So I'm afraid all of you who are saying that Gill should have been picked over him, well, he would have played in the next test anyway. So now he's had a few more balls practice out in the middle. Now, Shankar suggests, or wants to know, is Mark Labuschagne best pal with a cat? The number of lives he had today has been ridiculous.
Yes, that's a fair point. Young Marnus was the beneficiary of 3 opportunities, which I think all within the first 20 or 25 runs he scored. He was put down on nothing. I mean, imagine Labuschagne after his season last year where he racked up, was it 869 runs or something preposterous at an average of in excess of 100. Had he gone out in the first over today, it would have been cause for celebration. But I think India will take, for all of the calamity in the field, removing Labuschagne for 47, getting rid of Smith for 1, that's a win.
Can you imagine what it would have done to the game if he'd gone earlier?
Yes.
That's all I want to say.
Indeed.
So that was kind of ridiculous. But I don't know about his relationship with cats. So can't add. Dusty suggests the lovely pang of joy with every review when the third umpire already knows it's a fair delivery because they're finally adjudicating the front line. I put that in there just for you.
Yes, Dusty, I must admit I took a degree of joy from this as well, knowing that is no longer a step that matters because the third umpire watches the front line every ball. And aren't we a better sport for it? We finally crossed the precipice in allowing the third umpire to do the job they should have been doing for years, through no fault of their own, I should add, through administrators taking a long time to square the circle on this. But as I say, the game flows so much better knowing that the front line is actually policed.
The funny thing is that you haven't even noticed it.
Yep.
You haven't even noticed it.
Working smoothly.
Yeah, wouldn't it be good if they could call a run short and overturn that too?
Overtime.
Just saying. Hashtag just saying. And Rags says the good. Bumrah's batting at the end and Mayank seeing off Stark's tricky overs. Now, the only thing I will put down there, it's not Bumrah's job. That's just how I personally feel about the night watchman. I am not a fan. I reckon if you're paid to be one of the best batters in the world, then that should be your job. And I understand why they do it. And he did extremely well to do it. I'm just not a fan of the concept.
I think I like it because any quirk of the game which is a little bit different and distinguishes it from other sports I tend to enjoy. And the night watchman is certainly one of those. Where else in the game would you elect to put someone who's less good at something in at a crucial time? But cricket.
Well, no, because it's stupid. Because it's stupid.
Well, it does make some procedural sense.
It does.
I mean, if you're playing the percentages, then I'm not sure. I don't know whether the numbers have been crunched over long-term use of night watchman versus putting out a specialist bat. But what I do know is that Bumrah did get to the close. He could get out first ball, stumps cartwheeling tomorrow first ball, and it will not matter a jot because he got to the close tonight.
Yeah, you know why this is? This is because they promoted him up the order one place, and he got that his first half century at the SCG. Man, it's happening.
He's flying.
He's going to be the next Ravi Shastri. Just watch. I'm all over that. And Rags has said your relentless jinxes over this test match. Don't know whether it's good, bad, or ridiculous. I'm telling you now, there is no such thing as a jinx. Now, what are you going to say other winners for tonight? What are you going to pick for good?
Well, I'm gonna have to refresh my memory to an extent. Give me a candidate which you think is the best. Oh yes, Ashwin. Of course, it's Ashwin. Ashwin was the standout performer. He was certainly my player of the day. So he should be the winner of the good prize on this as well.
Woo!
I think. Let's do it.
And the bad.
The bad India's catching. I think Shaw's day writ large. Again, I don't want to write the young man off. He's obviously a player of immense talent, but dropping a catch after getting out second ball of the test match and falling short before the close tonight when really the situation called for him to just find a way to manage. Sometimes that's the job of an opening batsman, and he wasn't capable of doing it tonight. So he'll live to fight another day, but today he unfortunately is the bad.
And the ridiculous.
The ridiculous. What was the most ridiculous? Can I say Marnus Labuschagne? Can I put my own contender in here? Marnus Labuschagne's first ball today, giving it to big Steve Smith. No! Okay, mate, we know you're friends with Steve Smith. It's cool. It's working good. But I don't think he has to copy every single mannerism every single day. I think there's room to ease into that or to draw on it occasionally. I don't know. That's my ridiculous. But there were a number of fantastic suggestions there, Mel. What did you have?
No, I'm going with you. You're allowed. You're my special guest, so you're allowed to do it.
Thank you, Mel. I'm so pleased you invited me on for that, if nothing else.
Well, let's see. Here we go. I'm going to prove there's no such thing as a jinx right now because I'm going to say I'm going to get this man back again. Ha! You're doomed. You're doomed.
I can't
wait. Doomed.